What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and eager to see this team getting back to playing winning basketball. The Pistons are 5 games into their season and figured I'd just do a little fun video today grading every single player who's in the rotation so far this year. Obvious disclaimer, feel like I shouldn't even have to say this, but this is not an outlook for the entire season. This is not how I feel about these players as a whole. This is simply just grading them on how I feel about their performance versus what I expected from them in the first 5 games. So the first player that we are going to grade is going to be Cade Cunningham, and he's going to come through with an A-. Cade, of course, has shown a great ability in scoring the ball this season. Right now, he's shooting 47% from the field and 40% from 3 while averaging 26 points per game. However, as bad as I want to give him an A++, not really able to do that because the turnovers have been an issue. He was in foul trouble one of those nights, and there's just not been an absolute perfect start for the season for Cade Cunningham. As far as scoring the ball goes, it's been great in the first 3 quarters, but his fourth quarter scoring still hasn't really came around. But anything lower than an A- would be a disservice to how well he's been able to score the ball, getting off those 26 points per night on good efficiency, and we've needed every single basket he has made so far this year. So the second player that is going to get graded today is going to be Jaylen Ivy, and he is going to get an A. Jaylen Ivy has been a huge bright spot for the Pistons this season. As of right now, 5 games into the year, he's averaging 21 points per game on 48% shooting. 43% from the three-point line for Jaylen Ivy so far this year. It's been amazing to watch Jaylen Ivy. He is leading our team in free throw attempts. He is getting to the free throw line. He's just making steps in all the right directions. And he is looking more and more like that prototypical version of a player that we expected to get when we drafted him. Super impressed with how Jaylen Ivy has played this year and looking forward to him continuing to keep it up, because if the shot keeps falling the way it has for Jaylen Ivy, it is going to get scary very soon for the rest of the league. So the next player we are going to grade here is going to be Tim Hardaway Jr., and he is going to get a B+. When Tim Hardaway Jr. originally was traded to the Pistons, I know that there was a lot of people in my comment section who was against the move. And then once it was announced that he was starting, there was even more people in the Pistons' bigger space talking about how they didn't agree with that decision. Myself was a little bit halfway in, halfway out on it, but I feel like every single person who was against the move at this point probably feels differently, because as of right now, Tim Hardaway Jr. has started every game for us and is shooting 53% from 3. That is pretty much all we really brought him in to do, was space the floor, and he has done a fantastic job of doing that. He has been able to hit shots off the movement. He's able to hit shots off the catch. Whatever you want as far as shooting a 3, Tim Hardaway Jr. can get it for you. I know he can be pretty streaky at times, but right now he is hitting, so things are looking great on the offensive end of the floor for Tim Hardaway. Good enough for a B+ in my book. The next player we will be grading is going to be Tobias Harris. He is going to get a C+ so far on the season. C+ might seem low, but honestly, I'm not upset at all with the way Tobias has played throughout these first 5 games, because I know that the higher scoring nights will come. Last night, he did finish with 18 points, which was a season high. He did have a couple games in single-digit scoring, and realistically, it's going to be difficult for us to win games if Tobias is putting up 8 points on the board or 7 points on the board on a nightly basis. But I do not expect that. I think that last night was a good step in the right direction. I think he's getting more comfortable with the team, and I have no worries about Tobias going forward, but it is pretty obvious that he has had a slower start to the season scoring the basketball, which is something we need him to do. As of right now, he is only shooting 37% from the field, but no worries going forward. Just have to give an honest assessment of what we've seen so far. So the next player we are going to grade is going to be Jaylen Durren, and he's also going to get a C+. Jaylen Durren in the first 5 games so far has really been plagued with foul trouble. Last night, he was only able to play 11 minutes due to foul trouble. There was another game where him and Isaiah Stewart were both in foul trouble, which led to some Paul Reed minutes. And just hasn't been a great start to the year for Jaylen Durren. Again, same deal with Tobias Harris. I'm not at all panicking about Jaylen Durren, especially considering that he is only 20 years old, but just have to evaluate based on what we've seen in these first 5 games. And I cannot say that Jaylen Durren has been the best version of himself so far this year. So moving on to the bench now, the first bench player we are going to grade is going to be Beasley, and he is going to get a B+. I felt like that was fair to grade him exactly how we've graded Tim Hardaway Jr. Despite his percentages being a little bit lower, he is shooting 38% from 3 right now, scoring 12 points per game. But I've loved everything I've seen out of Beasley. We know what we're getting with him. He's able to shoot the ball. He's also been monumental as far as a veteran and a leader. You can see him during timeouts and game breaks, talking to the young players. He's willing to guard the best guards on the other team. He's not afraid of any defensive assignment. I've loved what I've seen out of both of the veteran shooters in Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley. I gave them both B+ in this video, but if you wanted to argue and say that they've both been A's so far, I really wouldn't debate you on it. I just felt like keeping those kind of higher A grades for the guys who are putting out the super high production as far as points and assists and everything else goes. So that's just kind of my mindset on that. So the next player we are going to grade is going to be Isaiah Stewart, and we are going to give him a B+. If we are grading him based on his performance against the Philadelphia 76ers last night alone, it would be an A++ with a star next to it. But out of the 5 games so far, I have been pretty happy with the way Isaiah Stewart has played. Isaiah Stewart, of course, is kind of working himself into a newer role. Last year, he was the starting power forward for the team next to Jaylen Durren. This year, he's more or less Jaylen Durren's backup, playing the bench 5. He's not shooting any 3-pointers this year, as JB Bickerstaff has used him more in a roller role. When he sets screens, he's not popping, he's rolling to the hoop, looking for those slip passes, which can be argued is a better way of using him, especially with the added shooting on the team right now. But Isaiah Stewart has played some pretty good basketball, and last night against the Philadelphia 76ers was definitely one of the biggest games of his career that impacted the win. So moving on, we have Simone Fofana, and he is going to get a B-. Now, if you want to tell me that Simone Fofana deserves a lower grade than this, I would be okay with that, just because he's only averaging 4.8 points per game so far this year. He has been unable to find his shot. But the thing about Simone Fofana is even when his shot isn't falling, Simone Fofana almost will never hurt you. He's averaging a half a turnover per game. He's not going to turn over the ball. He's not going to get lost on defense. So even when his shot is not falling, he's really not detrimental to the team. I totally believe in Simone Fofana. I've made multiple hype videos on him on this channel over the summer. I think things will get better as of right now. He's had a little bit of a hard time finding a shot coming off the surgery this summer. Totally expect things to get better, but can't really give him anything higher than a B- so far, just based on his production. So the last player we are going to grade is going to be Ron Holland, and I'm going to give him a solid B. Ron Holland, of course, is a rookie. First 5 games in the NBA, averaging 5.5 points per game. Right now, he's shooting 46% from the field, only playing 13 minutes a night. I think that Ron Holland is exactly as advertised. He is an incredibly athletic player who is afraid of absolutely nothing. He's given it 110% while he's on the floor, but at the end of the day, he is a very, very raw, athletic 19-year-old that is going to need to polish his game and his jump shot in order to advance in this league. But thankfully, time is on his side, and that will likely happen in the future. So cool with giving Ron Holland a B so far. I think it's going to be a journey for him. I don't think any of these things that maybe don't look perfect so far are going to get solved overnight. But as far as the defensive impact and the energy he's bringing to the team, that is good enough in my eyes to give him a solid B. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys disagree with any of these or what you would give the players. If you want to do your own little chart in the comments, that'd be awesome too. I think that it's super important to remember this is not how I feel about these players as far as a whole. This is not how I think the rest of the season will go. This is just simply me grading the players based on their first 5 games in comparisons of what I expected from them to start off the season. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up soon.